Alrighty guys, how's it going? Daybreaker Rein here, coming at you through Videoscope with a playthrough of a game that I have long since wanted to play, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Now, I want to go ahead and apologize for the crazy filter display that I had to set up. Unfortunately, this is the only way I was able to record a proper recording. I tried several other methods. Something with Fraps distorted the audio in the game, so I have no idea what that's about. They distorted that, and then I also tried the actual in-game recorder from the program I use, and that was some fruity stuff going on with that recording. Anyway, I know I kind of skipped the intro of the game short, but we'll go ahead and get started. And again, I apologize for the crazy filter, guys. What a relief. I thought you'd never wake up. You were tossing and turning. What? Zelda? No, my name's Marin. You must still be feeling a little woozy. You are on Koholint Island. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. Whoa, Rein, you finally snapped out of it. Name's Taran. Hope you're feeling better. What? How did I know your name? You think it's weird, eh? Well, I know it's on the back of the shield. You got your shield back. Press the button and repel enemies with it. Alrighty. So this was actually one of the first Game Boy Color games I ever had. And it's a damn good one to start out on. I had this in Pokemon Red when I got my Game Boy Color. And I absolutely love this game. I love how they were able to keep the charm of Zelda and make it as expansive and open as the other games are, even with the limits of the Game Boy. Game Boy was truly a revolutionary device for the handheld market. The cool thing about this one is that the DX version actually includes a optional dungeon. Hoot hoot, so you are the lad who owns the sword. Now I understand why the monsters are starting to act so violently. The courageous lad has come to wake the windfish. It is said that you cannot leave the island unless you wake the windfish. You should now go north to the mysterious forest. I will wait for you there. Hoot. You found your sword. It must be yours because it has your name engraved on it. So yeah, the reason for the crazy filter is I have to record this using XSplit because I cannot actually record it with Fraps because of audio distortion, and then of course the crazy weird video I had with the recording software that's already embedded in the program. So I can't stress enough how much I apologize for that. I hope it's not too much of an eyesore. I tried to make it like not so loud, tried to not make the filter so crazy, or tried to cut out like a huge portion of the gameplay. Like, I'm not like that. These are just going to be raw recordings most of the time. So I probably won't have myself, like, on webcam unless it's like a live stream or something like that. But I'm actually going to attempt to get to the first temple. That's kind of the main point of this particular part, of this first part. But I'm also going to go ahead and start the trading game because that's a good thing to go ahead and get started. There's this whole trade system that you have to do in order to get to certain parts of the game. Sorry, kind of stumbled over my words there for a minute. I apologize about that. But the one part that you have to do here is you trade to get a bunch of bananas, and you need the bananas to access this part of the game because you give the bananas to a monkey, and he summons all of his buddies, and they build this bridge for you. And that continues the game. It's actually something that you have to do. You can't ignore doing it. So you can think of it as a really long, drawn-out side quest, almost in a way, which is actually kind of cool. Like, because until then, like, I think Ocarina was out around the time I got this game, at least the DX version. So I could probably say that side quests were kind of like starting to become the norm, because there were side quests in Ocarina to do certain stuff, especially like with the big Goron sword. Okay, so gotta come in here and talk to this guy. Aim B button to the crane, rest is just timing. Go over to the buttons to play. Good luck. This is probably by far one of my all-time favorite Game Boy Color games, because I played it so extensively. Like, I really like a lot of what the Game Boy Color had to offer as terms of games. I didn't have a lot growing up, and unfortunately my actual physical copy of this is busted. It took a bath with my original Pokemon Red copy, which is unfortunate. You got a Yoshi doll. Recently, he seems to be showing up in many games. You know, I think I laughed my butt off when I read that the very first time I ever read it, because it's just it's so true. Nintendo is notorious for making references to their other games in some shape, form, or fashion. So it was actually kind of funny and ironic that they were almost poking fun at the idea that Yoshi was in a game where he's not normally supposed to be, let alone a Zelda game of all things. Oh, will you give that doll to my baby? Yes. Oh, thank you. You are indeed a generous person. Ah, I will give you this in return. So you give the doll to her, and you get a ribbon. And then you trade the ribbon in the same area, thankfully. I'm glad I actually still remember this for the most part. It's been a while since I played this, but it's been on my mind to actually play this game. And I've thought what better way to, do it by doing a Let's Play of it. Makeup, jewels, dresses, I want it all. Sigh, and some new accessories would be nice. Oh, that ribbon, I need it. Will you trade for my dog food? Yes. Lucky, thanks. Here, well, here's your dog food. You exchange ribbon for dog food. It's full of juicy beef. Alrighty. I gotta make my way back down here and give it to this crocodile who gives me bananas, and then that's where the trading stops for the time being, because you won't give the bananas for a while. I've gone back and grabbed that. Any rupees will do. Rupees are definitely a necessity in this, because to get the shovel to hunt down the secret shells, which is a whole mechanic in the game, and I'll explain here in a minute. What's that you have? It's canned food. For heaven's sakes, man. Give that dog food to me. Please. He's hysterical. What do you do? Give him it. Oh, thank you. I'll take it. He just eats it whole. Can and everything. This crocodile's metal as hell. That was great. I know it's not a fair trade, but here's some bananas. Yum. You gave him dog food and got bananas in return. Good deal. Well, at least your character thinks so. So the secret shell that I got earlier. So there are, I believe, 25 of them throughout the entire game. And what they do is that there's this place called the something museum. I think it's secret museum, seashell museum. I think it's what it's called. My bad. Seashell museum. And you exchange these shells. Well, once you've collected enough, in any case, you exchange them for the level 2 sword, which is essentially the more powerful sword. Now, I had always read this crazy thing about you can actually get an even stronger sword that's actually a dagger. Now, I've never actually seen it, and I'm sure with the World Wide Web, how vast it is in YouTube, I'm sure someone can verify if that's even a legitimate thing that you can do. Hoot, ho, brave lad, on your quest to wake the dreamer. Welcome to the mysterious wood. Much of mystery you will find on this uncharted Koholint Island. I'm afraid you may find it a trifle difficult to leave the island while the windfish naps. By the by, have you ever visited the Tail Cave, which is south of the village? Go there with the key you find in this forest. The windfish is watching. Hoot. But yeah, I talked to family friend about Zelda one time, because we had talked about that, because this was one of his favorite Zeldas too, was Link's Awakening, because he actually played the original version before the DX version was released, and it's just a crazy kind of interesting thing. I don't know if anybody's actually confirmed it or not, because I haven't actually looked up more on it than what I know about it. Which, shame on me, because I should have looked up more. But the level 2 sword is the highest level sword you can get in the game, regardless if you can get the dagger version of it or not. But there's also a way to increase your attack even more, and that's the secret dungeon that is in this game that we'll eventually get to. I don't know exactly when. I'll have to look up because I don't really remember off the top of my head how to access it. I think it's just you have to go into the graveyard at a specific time. You have to be a specific part in the. You have to be along in the game to a certain part, and then you can go to the graveyard and push the specific gravestone, and you can enter the secret dungeon, which is called the Color Dungeon. And that allows you to, basically your reward at the end is you get to either choose the blue or red tunic. The red tunic offering offense, which it doubles your attack, or the blue tunic offering defense, which offers you double resistance to enemy attacks. Which I can say, I do remember Ganon being a hell of a lot easier in this game than with the blue tunic as opposed to the red tunic. You picked up the toadstool. As you hold it over your head, a mellow aroma flows into your nostrils. Alrighty. So I just gotta make it back through, hopefully. Plan is, like I said, to get to the Tail Cave. Probably won't do any of it until the next part. But that's the plan for the moment, is to get to the cave. So what can be really said about Zelda that hasn't been said a million times? Definitely a marvel of a series. The new Breath of the Wind, I think is called, or Breath of the Wild. Definitely looking pretty amazing for what it is. I know that was like the majority of Nintendo's E3 conference, which I was not awake to watch. I'm really excited because apparently, if I remember right from what I was told, the new game is going to be very Dark Souls-esque in theme, very open-ended. Double, toil and trouble, toadstool mix makes for powder. Oh, wrong button. Unfortunately, I don't. It's the sleepy toadstool. It does. We'll mix it up, sift something in a jiffy. We will. It's all ready. It is. Take care, as there's not much there. Why not try a bit in my hut? You got some magic powder. Try sprinkling it on a variety of things. Good job. Use it on your enemies and see what happens. If you run out, go to the forest, pick some mushrooms, and I will make you more. Which I honestly don't ever recall ever having to do that, honestly. I think there are certain enemies that actually drop the powder, and I think you can even just find it by cutting plants and stuff, much like you can with rubies. But yeah, like this new Breath of Wild. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna have a way to play it. I don't have my Wii U anymore. I sold that quite some time ago. But I will definitely be curious to see it on the NX. Like, if the NX entices me, I might actually end up picking up the NX. If that's actually a somewhat decent system that's not stupid gimmicky, but it's already sounding like it's going to be stupid gimmicky. So you sprinkle the powder on this raccoon dude and watch him freak the ever-living crap out for a while. Bah! The last thing I can remember was biting into a big juicy toadstool. And I had the darndest dream. I was a raccoon. Yeah, it sounds strange, but it sure was fun. Oh yeah, don't want to waste the rest of that powder. You got the tail key. Now you can open the tail cave gate. Hoot, take the key and go to the tail cave. Retrieve the instrument that is hidden there. Go now. The windfish is waiting. Hoot. Alrighty. I think I actually did this faster than one of my last takes. I've had to redo this like 8 times because I couldn't get the recording to work properly. Did I go and grab that? No, I didn't. Okay. I totally forgot to grab the piece of heart. That's silly of me. Oh well. I lost my piece of power, but it doesn't really matter too much. I do like that a lot of the enemies from the original Zelda like end up in here, like Octorogs and things like that, the Moblins. Really is a great testament to the original games. Probably why it's one of my favorites. It's so weird. A lot of people are so like stuck on like, you know, you ask some people and they're like, oh, well, you know, like Ocarina was my favorite, or, you know, Majora's Mask, you know, like there's like, it's kind of like with Castlevania, there's like stereotyped games that people will say, oh, that one was the best one, that was my favorite, you know. But this one, you know, I don't think this is like one of those stereotyped ones. This is definitely one of the ones that I think is a little underrated, but still good in its own right. You know, anyways, guys, so my goal was to make it to the Tail Cave, so I did that, and in the next part, we will be taking on the Tail Cave. So until then, guys, I will see you later. Have a good one, guys.